The 2024 Ford Bronco Raptor is here, and it's an absolute beast. It's wider than some full-size trucks, including the Raptor F-150, rides on 37-inch tires, and is built to blast through the desert at high speeds. But with a nearly $100,000 price tag, is it worth it? Let's find out. And first thing you should notice is this thing is wide. At 85.7 inches wide, it's a big boy, even wider than the Raptor F-150, which means it's a bit hard to drive around crowded cities, a bit harder to park in certain situations, but definitely leads to the beastly look. One of the biggest visual changes in this Raptor Bronco over the last one that I reviewed, besides the paint color and removing the graphic, is the body colored fenders, which give it a more sleek, more refined look. I think they look way better than the black ones before. Cleaner, more refined, but still aggressive. This isn't just a Bronco with bigger tires. It's a full factory-built off-road monster. You've got the full metal bash plates, reinforced skid protection, rock rails with removable running boards, and front and rear tow hooks. Everything about this thing screams off-road capability. And these, the 37-inch all-terrain tires, straight from the factory. No other production SUV comes with tires this big stock, and they're impressive. And those are riding on these unique 17-inch black high-gloss wheels. Inside is a mix of rugged and refinement. Leather trimmed and suede seats give the premium touch, but everything is built tough. Rubberized surfaces, hard plastics, and even molly straps on the seat backs for extra storage. First, let's talk about the back seats. They are nice material. There is plenty of room for children or adults being back there. Throughout my week of driving it, I did have the kids back there. I did have 3 wide back there. No big complaints. The biggest thing is that these seats don't really recline. There's not really much adjustment, so if you don't fit well, it's going to be a bit of a hard time. But let's move into the front. All right, and first thing to do is kick it on, push button start. You get the familiar Ford chimes. And the first thing you should notice is the large 12-inch touchscreen display. I said it in the last Bronco Raptor review. This thing is nice to have. Ford has a really nice UX system, nice design here. Everything's easily accessible, easy to go through, lots of features. You do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connectivity. You can do wireless, you can do wired. We have a USB Type-C and USB Type-A connectivity here. We have an accessory port and, of course, a wireless phone charger. So you can throw your phone down there. It is rubberized, so it's not going to really slide around a lot. You've got the Ford Performance badge here, which is nice. We did skip over some of the physical buttons that you get for your audio. You've got things like turning on your camera. So we have the 360 camera system. Obviously, when you put it to reverse, you get the backup camera. You've got a button to turn off the start-stop feature, parking sensors here, all your AC and heat controls, traditional gear shifter with that Bronco logo there. Again, put it into reverse, you get the backup camera. Cup holders, just fine. You've got your switch for your G.O.A.T modes, all pretty standard. What we've come to know, you've got your 4-wheel drive control and your trail control button. Still have your window controls and your mirror controls all here. Got the Raptor logo on your console. This is nice squishy leather. Open it up. Good amount of room in there. Moving to the steering wheel, Bronco logo, Raptor logo, red stitching, red stripe on the top. We do have paddle shifters here in case you think you need them. You've got all the buttons that you would assume to have, same as the previous Raptor Bronco. More buttons here for your steering settings, a quick R button for your My Mode, suspension settings, and exhaust. And behind the steering wheel, we do have the large digital driver information display. This is really nice. It can be kind of customized, and you can already see our MPG. We'll talk more about that kind of a little bit later, but we're averaging 16.4. You can see when we hit the steering button, we've got a couple of steering settings from normal to comfort to sport. The R brings up the My Mode setting. Hit that suspension button on the steering wheel, and you've got normal, sport, and off-road. Exhaust is quiet, normal, sport, and Baja. And then again, switching your G.O.A.T modes. So all the way here, we got slippery, tow haul, sport, normal, off-road, Baja, and rock crawl. Keep it normal for now. You have another array of buttons up here for a lot of different off-roading features. Basically the same we've seen in this thing. And then of course your auxiliary switches, which are already wired up. The seats again are the nice Raptor seats, leather, suede. You've got the Raptor logo in here. It's a bit of a mesh. You've got nice harnessing here. We don't have red seat belts like we did in the other one. These are just black, but you do get red stitching. Seats are heated, steering wheel is heated, and we're definitely taking full advantage of that today. But before we really get this thing going, let's jump out quickly, talk about the cargo capacity, then we'll get this thing out on the road. Cargo space in the Bronco is decent. You get 37.2 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row. 77.6 with these seats down, but it's actually a little smaller than the standard Bronco because of the reinforced chassis and rear suspension setup. And instead of the traditional liftgate, you've got this reinforced swing gate to hold the massive spare tire. Looks cool, but not as quick to open. And they had to do a lot of redesign for the Raptor specifically to get the spare tire on here. I went into more detail on the last Raptor Bronco review, but just know they had to do a lot back here to get this thing to fit. All right, let's talk about driving this thing around town. It's big, bulky, and takes up a lot of space. The ride is stiffer, but not uncomfortable. And while the steering is light, it still feels like you're in command of a tank. On the highway, it actually settles in decently well. The Haas 4.0 suspension with Fox live valve dampers smooths out the road, but wind noise from the removable roof is still noticeable and still a bit of a concern. But this is where the Bronco Raptor shines. Now, I didn't get to do any crazy off-roading in this thing. I didn't climb rocks. I didn't climb mountains. This thing can do it, but I did take it on a closed-off dirt road and had some fun tearing through the road. I put it in Baja mode, and man, this thing rips. The long travel suspension soaks up bumps like nothing, and the front and rear lockers make it nearly unstoppable. It's just begging for more extreme terrain. Here's the catch. This thing isn't cheap. Base price, just over $90,000 for the Bronco Raptor. We've got a few options, and with destination charge, you're looking at $95,000, pushing almost $100,000 for the Bronco Raptor. Last time I drove it, it was only about $85,000, so it's almost $10,000 more now. Just a couple of years later from the launch of the Bronco Raptor. And that's a lot of money, obviously. I still think with everything that this thing can do, it's worth the price if you're really going to use it for what it can do. If you're just going to be going around town, grocery getting, living the city or suburban life, don't get the Raptor, just get the Bronco. Again, last time I drove the Raptor was actually the first time I drove the new generation of Broncos, so I didn't really have another Bronco to compare it with, But now I've also driven the Everglades, I've driven the Heritage, I've driven regular Broncos. I've got reviews for all of these in a playlist if you want to check them out. I'll try to leave it down in the description or one of the iCards or something. But the Bronco is a special machine. I'm glad Ford makes it. But if you're not really putting it to its use, let's jump out and I'll give you some of my final thoughts. So I guess the question is, should you buy one? Well, if you're looking for a daily driver, probably not. If you're looking for the most capable, most rugged, most badass SUV ever built from the factory, and you've got the budget for it, why not? This thing is a riot to drive, incredibly fun, incredibly capable, and worth every penny. There's nothing really else quite like it, and really happy that Ford makes it. That's why I like it. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Raptor Bronco. Is it something you'd spend your hard-earned money on? Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We do a different review every week. So if you're into automotive reviews, if you're an automotive enthusiast and you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. It's not always something quite as crazy, but really worth it, and I'd appreciate it. You should also check out TXGARAGE.com, where we've got a lot of written reviews as well as event and news coverage from a lot of great authors, not just myself. A lot of great stuff going on over there. TXGARAGE.com. We're checking out. With that, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching.